life, as we know. Obviously, it's no friend of minor children either. If you've watched any of what Lila Rose has been doing to expose some of the underhanded tactics, we're not certain that that sort of thing is going on here in New Hampshire, but we do know from testimony, because I served in the House for 4 terms too, and headed up a pro-life legislative caucus to try to get some of these bills through, and they came to testify against anything that we had there as protections, not only for the unborn, but for women and for minor girls as well. And what they do is they really do not want to know who the father is. So they will provide an abortion to a minor child that the parent does not know anything about, and they tell them that they don't want to know who the father is if in fact there's a case of incest or a case of any type of child abuse. Obviously there is, if it's a minor girl anyway. And so they actually cover up the crime and allow the person to go back into that devastating situation. As Elaine said, we tried to pass a parental notification law, which did pass the House, Senate, was signed into law by the governor. They put up a lot of money, and some of that, the outrage, as Nancy said, is that our state dollars and our federal dollars are going to fund all of their activities. And they took us to court here, first at the district court and then the First Circuit Court, and I followed it all the way through to when Kelly Ayotte defended our law at the U.S. Supreme Court. And they said that most of the law was perfectly legal, perfectly fine, they had no problem, but they wanted an exception for an emergency health exception, which we could have put in. When the Democrats got in, unfortunately, they made it a priority to fast-track a repeal of our law. So right now, New Hampshire remains the most abortion-friendly state in the country. The major provider of abortions in New Hampshire and in the country is Planned Parenthood. As Nancy said, we know of a botched abortion at the Greenland facility, where we are currently saying rosary and praying every Tuesday, year-round, regardless of the weather. I haven't been going lately. I'm a little bit of a wimp, but that's the day that we know that abortions are performed, not just for people here in New Hampshire, but we are a receiver state, so people can come in from other states that have protections and guarantees that parents will be able to know when their minor daughters are having this life-changing procedure. In the legislature, Planned Parenthood has said that the funding that they get from the state and federal does not go to pay for abortions, but for health care. We know this is like telling a teenage boy that says, I want some money for books and for lunches, and the kid says, no, I'm not going to use that money for anything but books and lunches. I certainly won't use it to buy drugs or beer. I've got my other money for that. So that's what Planned Parenthood is saying. We're not going to use your money. We're going to put that in a separate account, which is absolutely absurd, because we know all of their money goes to provide for abortions. They have fought us on, as Nancy said, abortion statistics. They fought us for any legislation we tried to pass that would say they would have informed consent for women or a 24-hour waiting period. They fought us on every single pro-life legislation that would have put in protections for women and for minor children as well as for the babies. So, you know, I'm joining all of you here today in unanimity to say that we should not have our tax dollars go, either our federal or our state or local tax dollars go to fund this kind of activity.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you both for fighting for us, because that is a tough arena to be in.
It is.